2016 Acura RDX. Go beyond utility.
It is Marcus Stroman bobblehead day here at Rogers Center, and there's a packed house on hand as everybody wants to get involved with the Stroman bobblehead. Marcus is here with his family, and they've all enjoyed a great pregame ceremony. The Astros trying to salvage the final game of this three-game series. They swept the Blue Jays in a four-gamer down in Houston. Now the Blue Jays trying to return the favor. Let's take a look at the lineup for Houston. They hit 8 home runs in the four-game series in Houston, only 2 so far in this series. Down in the 5th spot, Chris Carter against R.A. Dickey. 4 for 12, a .333 average with 3 extra base hits. Jonathan Villar has worn out the Blue Jays this season. He's 6 for 12 with 3 doubles, and Villar has been a tough out for the Blue Jays and R.A. Dickey.
Homered in yesterday's ball game against the Blue Jays. R.A. Dickey takes the mound for his 12th start of the season. He lost to the Astros. You mentioned that 4-game sweep down in Houston. He gave up 7 runs, 10 hits over 5 innings. In fact, he's lost 3 consecutive to Houston and yet to earn a victory in 4 starts as a Blue Jay versus the Astros. His control has been better, just 5 walks in his last 4 starts to go along with 21 strikeouts. He's been much better at home. Opponent's batting average here at the Rogers Center just over 200 for R.A. Dickey.
The Blue Jays have a 4-game win streak, and with that comes a little bit more fun, a little bit extra hop in your step. And look at the Blue Jays anxious to take the field here as they all sprint to their positions. Nothing fuels a team like winning. R.A. Dickey is set. George Springer, the leadoff man. And here's the first pitch of the game. It is in there for a strike, and we are underway. 18 degrees at the start of this ball game. Springer yesterday 0 for 4. He grounded into a double play as well.
Some thoughts that he might have the day off today, but they lost the first couple games in this series. So A.J. Hinch says, you know what, I need my young right fielder. I'd like to get him off his feet before we head to Chicago. But he's back in the lineup today.
Yeah, I think the Astros feel like they want to put their best team on the field and try to salvage this final game of this series. They are now only 3.5 games ahead of the Rangers. 3-1 now to Springer. Springer hit a home run off Dickey down in Houston. That was a fastball, misses for ball 4. Take a look at the defense as Dickey finds out who's going to cover second on a comebacker. In the outfield, it's Chris Colabello. He now has the most starts for the Blue Jays in left field. Kevin Pillar's in center, Jose Bautista back in right field. Donaldson, Reyes, Goins, and Justin Smoke around the infield. Russell Martin again catching the knuckleballer, R.A. Dickey.
Justin Smoke has been outstanding, I think, for the Blue Jays offensively and now defensively. He's been making some plays over there at first base. Good to see him in the lineup this afternoon.
Springer is a threat to steal. He had a stolen base on Friday night and forced Russell Martin into his second error of the season.
They have good team speed, Buck, this team, the Houston Astros. Springer and Altuve at the top of this lineup. They've got some speed at the bottom of the lineup in Marisnik, so R.A. is going to have to do a good job of holding those runners.
Dickey's got a good move. He is quick to first base. He's also quick to unload and give Russell Martin a chance. First challenge for Russell Martin is to catch the knuckleball first and foremost. Then you worry about throwing it. Altuve takes his strike. We mentioned Springer hit a home run off Dickey. Well, Altuve, he really had the decisive blow. He hit a 3-run home run of R.A. Dickey down in Houston.
Springer's went to right center field. Altuve's went to left center field. Knuckleball just wasn't moving that afternoon.
Springer's hit his home run in the 3rd. Altuve's followed in the 4th with a 3-run homer. Dickey lasted just 5 innings in that start.
Russell Martin with the start this afternoon with a runner on base. He's going down to one knee because of the knuckleball. That's going to be hard to throw a base runner out, isn't it?
It is for most people, but Russell's such a good athlete. He can get to his feet very quickly. And as I said, the most important thing when you're dealing with a knuckleball pitcher and a base stealer is you got to catch it first. make sure that you don't miss it and allow him to take 2 bases. Boy, he looked like he was running there. Dickey guessed right.
Oh, he's guessing knuckleball also. It's 1-2, and Ari likes to use that floater. A little bit harder knuckleball with 2 strikes, so not a bad time to gamble if you're the Astros.
There he goes. Pitches down and away. Martin makes a good, strong throw and a great tag by Goins. So Martin got a little revenge. Springer picked him up on Friday as he stole the base, and today Springer is gunned down by Russell Martin. Another terrific throw by the Blue Jays catcher.
He's got one of the best percentages in throwing out base runners, and he's throwing out good ones. You can see he's down on that one knee, but he's so quick. Pushes off with that right foot and throws an absolute strike to second base. Goins with a great tag. Very quickly catches the ball, bam, right down into the dirt to get the out.
2-2 pitch to Altuve. What a turnaround after the leadoff walk, a caught stealing, and a strikeout. 2 outs. Nobody on. Catchers really appreciate a middle infielder getting to the bag quickly.
Giving him a target and then throwing that glove down quickly to get the out. If you're hesitant or if you're slow putting that tag down, he's going to be safe. Ryan Goins has shown this year that he can do that. He's very quick with that glove.
Evan Gattis goes after the first pitch. There's a 2-hopper to third. Good start for Dickey. He got some help from his catcher. Russell Martin threw out Springer after the leadoff walk. Reyes will start things off when we come back. And was able to gun down George Springer for the second out of the inning. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. Reyes, Donaldson, and then Jose Bautista. Bautista's got a 10-game hit streak. He's hit .368 over those 10 games and driven in 9 runs. He's really starting to swing it. And how about Chris Colabello? He's got the longest hit streak in the majors right now. It's 16 games, and he's hit .354 over that 16 games with 8 extra base hits. Colabello for the season batting .359.
Blue Jays get a second chance against Colin McHugh. 11 starts this year, 6-2, .433 earned run average. He won his first 4 decisions this season, but since then he's only won 2 of his next 6. One of those wins was against the Blue Jays. They had him on the ropes all afternoon long. They just couldn't come up with a big base hit. He also had 9 strikeouts against the Blue Jays in his 7 innings when he won his 5th game of the season.
Yeah, he got a lot of those strikeouts with that big, slow curveball. Jose Reyes steps in, and what a day he had yesterday. 3 stolen base game. Reyes providing some of the offense, top of the order, setting the table. He was on base 3 times, picked up 3 stolen bases, scored a run, and drove 1 in.
9th time in his career that he has had 3 stolen bases in a game.
He was the last Blue Jay to have 3 stolen bases last May 25th. Blue Jays as a team swiped 5. Bouncing ball up the middle. They are across second in time to throw Reyes out. 1 down. Well, the Astros lead the AL West, and they have done it on the strength of their pitching and defense and the long ball. Former Blue Jay Colby Rasmus was in center for the first 2 games this series. Jake Marisnick is back in center field. George Springer is in right. Valbuena Villar on the left side of the infield. Altuve and Carter on the right side, and Jason Castro back behind the plate for a 3rd consecutive game.
And Jose Altuve's second base is one of the best. He has started every game but one for the Astros. He's had the most innings at second base in the American League with over 500 innings already. He's had the most assists already with 186. And he's been the only second baseman to be involved in a triple play this year. He's got the 2nd highest zone rating in the American League behind Ian Kinsler. He is an all-round player.
A very good player and still just 24 years old. So he's a young guy that's established himself as a star early. There's that slow curveball. You're going to see a lot of those curveballs today.
Yeah, it's a finishing pitch for Colin McHugh. He's been throwing more 4-seam fastballs up in the strike zone just to set up that slow curveball. So the Blue Jays are going to have to set their sights down low.
0-2 to Josh Donaldson. There's that 4-seamer upstairs. Donaldson was hit by a pitch yesterday. He reached base in that ball game. And it's 37 straight games he has reached base against the Astros. There's that curveball. The downside of his game yesterday was he went 0 for 3 and snapped a 10-game hit streak.
Well, I'm sure he'll take the win. If you know anything about Josh Donaldson and what he is all about, help my ball club any way I can to win a game. He was flawless defensively in yesterday's ball game.
There's a slider. You can see the difference in the curveball and the slider. The slider will be in the mid-80s, and it's a late-breaking slider. And then that curveball, it'll be down as low as 60 miles an hour when it crosses home plate.
That's right. It's a nice compliment to that 4-seam high fastball that he'll throw at times. There's another one right there. Up in the strike zone, and it's a good compliment because it changes the eye plane of the batter, stands him up. You've heard that saying before back in the day. Stand up the hitter with that high fastball, you get him looking up, then you drop that overhand curveball on that batter.
McHugh grew up in Georgia, a Braves fan. There's a fastball hit into right. Springer over and makes the catch. 2 down. Well, we talk about the arsenal of Colin McHugh. Let's have a look at it.
It's a little bit different in that he throws more sliders and I'm going to say slash cutters. He's been throwing a lot more cutters, and he's combined that with that slider to throw it 41% of the time. Lots of them. He'll also mix in that fastball, that the 4-seamer, and then the curveball 23% of the time, down to about 73 miles per hour. It's a nice little arsenal for McHugh.
Gets ahead with that first pitch fastball to Bautista. Jose, we mentioned he's had a 10-game hit streak. Average up to 250. Curveball misses in dirt. If you're going to look for the curveball, where do you set your sights as a hitter?
I think for me facing this guy, I got to look for the ball up. If I see that little hump in the ball as it leaves his hand, it's going to be up. It's going to come down in the strike zone. I think if you look for it about belt high or thigh high, that's the one that's going to sweep out of the strike zone.
There's a drive to center field. Marisnick back looking up. Goodbye, home run. Number 10 for Jose Bautista.
Jose Bautista looks like he's starting to get into one of those home run grooves for the Blue Jays. That looked like it might have been the cutter right there from Colin McHugh, but it was up. You were talking about looking for the ball up in the strike zone. That time it looked like that pitch was right there. Jose is at such an advantage, I think, because he is so quick and he can wait for so long and recognize the pitch and then just attack it.
Bautista has now homered in 3 of his last 4 games.
You know, most hitters, they have to start their swing to get it going. Jose, I think, can recognize it. That is a cutter right there as he gets his hand on the side of that baseball, but it's up and out over the plate for Jose.
Bautista homered on Friday night against Roberto Hernandez. Chris Colabello hits one off the end of the bat. BR at short. And Carter grabbed it, and Tim Leeper wants the bench to replay that. The ball may have been in the air while Colabello went across the bag, so John Gibbons comes out of the dugout. They'll be checking it out. James Hoyt at first base.
Waiting, and they're waiting to see if he has it. From up here, it looked like he bobbled it, but then grabbed it with that bare hand before Colabello could get there. Did he keep his foot on the base? It certainly looks like he did.
Yeah, the Blue Jays agree with that, as they will give up the chance to challenge. But the Blue Jays, on the strength of Bautista's 10th home run, have staked R.A. Dickey to a 1-0 lead.
And Tabby, you mentioned it yesterday. He seemed to be favoring that left shoulder, and after the game, he had a cortisone shot to help relieve the pain. He says that it's something that's been bothering him for the last couple of weeks. In fact, we saw him with the big wrap on his shoulder in Washington last week, but he was talking more about the hamstring at the time. He is hoping that taking just today off will be all he needs to get himself back in the lineup. But guys, as we've seen before with this team, guys that have been playing through injuries have ended up missing more time that they had hoped, or possibly going on the DL. So for Encarnacion, the hope is that one day to let the shot kind of take its effect will be all he needs to get back.
Yeah, generally the cortisone shot will calm down the inflammation in that joint area. And when you think about it, Pat, Edwin hit extra on Monday in Washington and then hit extra again on Friday before the start of this series. So it wasn't really bothering him to that extent until that game yesterday. Colby Rasmus fouls it out of play.
And he was saying that because of all of those swings, he feels like it's now starting to hurt him just a little bit. Cortisone shots usually take 2 days, don't they? 48 hours to calm down. And
I think everybody's different, yeah. I think it's just a matter of how it affects your body. I mean, there's general soreness with any kind of injection, and it depends on where you're going to get it. But in your shoulder, I think how close to the surface those bones are. And it can be rather painful. Rasmus drives it to left. And that's going to fall as Colabello took a difficult route to that ball. Then he drops it, but it's going to end up as a double for Colby Rasmus to start the second. It's a breezy day here, and we mentioned Colabello making his 16th start in left field. And he kind of had a...
He just didn't look comfortable at all. As soon as this ball was hit, he was playing him in the alley in left center field and did not get a good read off the bat. And once that ball hit that surface, it's going to bounce high over his head for extra bases. Colby Rasmus at second base.
A leadoff double for Rasmus, his 11th double of the season. This is Chris Carter. 1-0 Blue Jays. Carter has hit well against Dickey, albeit just 12 at bats. He's 4 for 12. Hitting right at 200. He had his 12-game hit streak snapped here on Friday and sat out yesterday. Came into the ballgame as a pinch hitter in the seventh.
Not too many players with a lot of at-bats against R.A. Dickey. Altuve, Carter, and Castro are the three batters that have had double-digit at-bats against him. Altuve and Carter have homered against him.
Bouncing ball. Rasmus is going to go to third, and Reyes will go to first. Colby with a good break on contact. Let's go back and look at the home run by Jose Bautista in the first inning.
Jose has been known to do this in that first inning, catch the ball out in front, which he does. The two previous pitches were breaking balls that were off the plate. This time looked like the cutter, 87 miles an hour, and he hammers this ball. It is carrying today with the roof open.
Blue Jays infield is playing in this situation with Valbuena at the plate.
So you keep an eye on that runner at third base and see if Colby Rasmus is going to try and steal a run here.
0-2 to Valbuena. The Astros, as a team, batting .234 with runners in scoring position. Well, this is where Russell Martin really earns his keep with a runner at third base, and Dickey throwing that knuckleball, boy, really makes you concentrate as a catcher.
Yeah, he's going to reach back for a little something extra too to try and get the strikeout.
You heard Dickey hollering front for Martin so he could locate that ball. Pitcher will always try to help the catcher. You can't really see as well with that mask on, and when that ball hits the ground, sometimes you lose track of it. That one gets away from Martin, and that's going to allow Rasmus to come across and score. That ties up the game. So really, when you think about it, a fly ball to left field that Colabella couldn't make a play on, and then the ground ball too short. Rasmus moves up on the out and then scores on a wild pitch. The Astros take advantage of some shaky defense.
They really haven't hit the ball very hard. This ball gets away from Russell Martin. Looked like it's probably going to be a wild pitch.
This is popped up. Donaldson over into foul ground, battling the sun, using that glove as a shade. And he makes the catch. Valbuena is retired.
And if you're the Blue Jays, you're like, well, why couldn't you throw that pitch right there and get the pop up and the run doesn't score? But he was going for the strikeout and overthrew that knuckleball back to the backstop.
So there are 2 outs. It's a 1-1 game. Jonathan Villar, the shortstop. Villar hitting right-handed. He's a switch hitter, and we have seen both Villar and Marwin Gonzalez down in Houston bat right-handed against Dickey.
A lot of players this year we have seen that, just to take away that window, if you will, for the pitcher, the knuckleball pitcher. Get on top of the plate.
0-2. Did he go? The appeal to first, and James Hoy says no swing down at first. We have seen Mark Teixeira, Chase Headley of the Yankees also hit right-handed as switch hitters. There's strike 3 called, and Dickey knew it. The leadoff double fell in left field. Scores on a wild pitch. We're tied at 1 after 2.
much into this. Prior to the game, he went outside, randomly selected this young man, 7-year-old Patrick, and said, "Hey kid, how would you like to throw out the first pitch today?" Of course, Patrick was thrilled by it. I spoke to his parents. They said they had no idea. They saw Marcus just wandering around with the crowd. Of course, the security folks were trying to keep him back from the crowd, but Marcus said, "I want to just walk out there and pick some kid." And he selected young Patrick, and it was the biggest thrill of that kid's life to be able to get out there and throw the first pitch. And that's just Marcus Stroman in a nutshell, guys.
Yeah, it sure is. And what a great gesture for Marcus Stroman to go and give that youngster the thrill of a lifetime to come on and step on the field. And Marcus went to the mound with him and helped him throw out that first pitch. It was awesome. Says Deanna Navarro, who is DHing this afternoon. Navarro's return to the active roster gives John Gibbons a little more flexibility. Gives him a few more options.
Gives him another bat. And DeAnna can hit. He was really starting to come around, I thought, before he got injured. That leg injury on the double. But it gives John Gibbons another bat, and with Edwin now down, you got an experienced run producer and a good hitter at the plate.
Navarro, when he injured his leg on April 21st, he had a 3-hit game. He had a double and 2 singles in 5 at-bats. And he was the DH in that ball game. That was that 13-6 win over the Orioles. And that was the start of that sweep, and that's when Bautista injured his arm, and they had the John back and forth, and it seems like more than a couple of months ago. This is a broken bat pop-up. Altuve battling the sun, and you can see it got into the sun right before he caught it. And look at Altuve say, "Come over here, Chris, and help me out."
Yeah, nobody else moved either on the defense as that ball went up, struggling with it. You can see he's got the sunglasses down. He's got the hand up there, and nobody else on defense moved.
Yeah, and he says, "Look, it's right over there, man. You got to come over here and get an angle on that, and you can make it a lot easier." Look at Carter just standing there and saying, "You got it, you got it, you got it."
You know, if he missed it, there was nobody at first base to throw out Navarro. Navarro was only about halfway down there.
Yeah, but Altuve had a good point. You know, you should all converge on those pop-ups, and the guy that has the best angle is the one that should call it. Russell Martin had a 2-hit game against Colin McHugh in Houston. He had a double down into the right field corner and had a sharp single into center. 2-0. We mentioned the Blue Jays had McHugh on the ropes all afternoon in that series finale. The Jays were 0 for 12 with runners in scoring position and lost 4-2. Three and 1 now to the Blue Jays catcher.
Boy, they had their chances, didn't they? Down there, they just couldn't come up with a big base hit. McHugh made pitches, and then he lasted long enough to turn it over to that bullpen.
Well, he can drop that hook in there just about any time he wants to. Came right back with it. 2 in a row, and Martin says, you can't fool me on that one.
You know, if you're going to throw it 3-1, might as well throw it 3-2. That's exactly what he did right there. And Russell had the advantage of seeing it on 3-1, and now on 3-2, he recognizes it, sees that little hump in that ball as it comes out of his hand, and rips that ball back through the middle.
Well, you're right about it. And Russell, he has that mindset when he's calling a game. Say, well, if he can throw it 3-1, he's going to throw it 3-2, and that's what he was looking for. 1-out single for Martin. Justin Smoke batting 7th in this lineup today. Smoke came off the bench yesterday in the 8th inning and had a 2-run double.
Brooks Jacoby said that was a huge hit for the Jays yesterday. Coming off, he ripped the ball into right field. Been swinging a hot bat.
Smoke hasn't had many regular at bats, but boy, he's made the most of the ones he's gotten. 11 for his last 29. That's a 379 average, and that goes all the way back to the middle of May. Over his last 17 games, hitting nearly 380. I tell you what, it takes a hard effort to keep your timing down when you get sporadic at bats. You really got to work hard to stay sharp.
And you know what? Batting practice is not going to do it. You can't go out there hitting off some guys throwing 70 miles an hour and feel like you're going to get your timing and keep your time against big league pitching. You got to go down and crank that pitching machine up, or you got to go in and stand and watch those pitchers throw.
Popped up over the screen.
You know, I was a bench player at the end of my career. You were a bench player at the end of your career, and you know how hard it is to sit around for even 2 or 3 days and maintain that timing at the plate to face big league pitching.
Nowadays, they do a lot of different things to try to keep the extra men sharp.
Flips
Use the
aren't going to
pitching
do
machine. They'll throw that pitching machine.
Crank it up.
Get it up there about 90.
Crank it up there and use the curveball also. The pitching machine can throw your curveballs. You can also face pitchers if they're throwing live BP, just trying to get some work in. But it's tough.
Full count to Justin Smoke. Kevin Pillar is on deck. Russell Martin at first. There goes Martin. Smoke pops it in the air to deep right. Marisnik, the center fielder, calls for it, makes the catch. Martin will hustle back to first and get there. So Smoke flies out to the center fielder. I want to remind you, we're going to be joined by Marcus Stroman. He's going to join us on the headset from the dugout and talk about his rehab, talk about his bobblehead day, and the fact that his family has joined him here on this Sunday afternoon to experience the Marcus Stroman bobblehead day. Good to see him with the ball club, and he's had a good time. And there you can see that bobblehead. Fans got those bobbleheads as they entered Rogers Stadium for this ball game today. Kevin Pillar. Pillar has been swinging a red hot bat. He was hitting .217 on May 26th. Since then, he's gone 12 for 29, raised his average up to .244.
You know, the most impressive thing about that, they're over 200 at bats now into this season, players, and to see that type of movement in your batting average after 200 at bats, that's pretty impressive. Now you have a couple of good games, and instead of jumping big jumps, you just have small increments.
It always seems to go down faster than it goes up.
Isn't that the truth?
Pillar hit 181 in the month of May. He's off to a good start here in June.
You know, another thing, when you're not hitting well, you always seem to catch that up on the scoreboard, right? Your batting average up on the scoreboard, but if you're hitting 300, you never notice.
Two balls and a strike. It's a 1-1 game. Colin McHugh, originally drafted by the Mets. He signed with New York and then was dealt to Colorado. That's that front door breaking ball. The Astros claimed McHugh off of waivers December 18th of 2013. His rookie season a year ago. He had the lowest whip at 1.02 of any rookie pitcher with at least 100 innings. There's that slow curveball. That's the first strikeout of the afternoon for Colin McHugh. We've played two on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. It's a 1-1 game. the dugout who just got some hair adjustment from his pal, Mark Burley. Marcus Stroman, good to see you. Good to have you back in the house.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on.
Special day for you. You've got your family here on Marcus Stroman Bobblehead Day. Talk about what it feels like to experience this, to be recognized as a special player for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, it's awesome. You know what I mean? It's definitely one of the best experiences I've had so far. Especially to have my entire family here with me and to kind of experience this whole thing, this whole Bobblehead Day. They were with me all today when I was doing appearances and signing. So it's a pretty special day for me.
Where'd you go today?
We went out to the main gate. I actually just walked out in the main gate just with all the fans, and I picked a little kid to throw out the first pitch, and then I went up to the suite, said hi to some kids, and then I was out here signing a bunch of bobbleheads. So it's been a fun day.
That's awesome, Marcus, and I want to commend you for recognizing that little 7-year-old, have him come out and throw out the first pitch. That was awesome.
You guys see this right here that Burley just gave me?
What's that?
Can you guys see this?
What is that?
I'm holding. It's my social savvy rookie of the year award, and Burley made me hold this.
Social savvy.
It's a hashtag.
Who presented that to you?
Ace presented it to me, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that down though.
So how's your rehab going, Marcus?
Really well, really well. I've been putting in a lot of work at Duke. I have a great team down there they're working with me directly, and they're putting a lot of time and effort into me. So I'm doing everything I can in my power to be back, hopefully helping this team at some point.
Marcus, how long has it been since you haven't been able to play baseball in the summer?
Well, I'm 11 weeks out of surgery, so I got surgery March 19th, and I tore my ACL about a week before that, so I haven't had baseball for like 12 weeks. It's been all schoolwork and rehabbing.
But when was the last time you went without playing baseball as a kid?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I don't remember. I've been playing baseball ever since I could walk pretty much, so yeah, it's been a long time.
So you mentioned you were down at Duke. You're not just down there rehabbing. You're going to school. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was a perfect opportunity to go back to school and get my degree. When I was at Duke, I did 3.5 years in 3 years in hopes that I would be able to come back and finish my degree. And this is just a perfect case scenario because the doctors there are on staff at the Blue Jays, and I'm going to be able to finish my degree and have my 4-year diploma from Duke University by August. So it's pretty special. Marcus,
I got to commend you for that. I'm 67 years old. I'm still waiting to get my last semester of college in.
Go get it in. Stop waiting. Go get it in, Buck. Come on.
They don't even have records when I went to school.
I haven't even started.
Yeah.
Came right out of high school.
Definitely going to be hard to start.
So,
now.
Mark, what are you studying down there?
Sociology major. So I'm in a couple classes I'm taking hip-hop cinema right now as an elective. I'm taking intellectual property and innovation. And I'm taking my independent sociology research seminar. So I got a lot going on, but I'm busy, and it's good.
Well, that's awesome. And how often do you get to follow the boys on the field and see what they've been doing?
Oh, I keep track of
yeah, we're trying to keep it in the yard too, Marcus, and it just wouldn't stay in.
Yeah, Mariznik. But yeah, I keep track of everything. You know what I mean? I'm pretty active. I see everything on social media, and I follow box scores on MLB apps, so I see everything that's going on.
What about watching Sanchez try to make a bid for that shutout? That must have been kind of nerve-wracking for you as well.
I was so angry when he let up that hit with that homer to Castro. I wanted him to get it so bad. You know what I mean? To have him go CG shutout in his first year, that would be huge. And he's capable. I'm sure you'll see that in one of his next starts.
You were talking a little bit about the rehab, Marcus, and you said it's going really well. Is there any chance that we would see you on a baseball field for the Blue Jays this year, or does it make a lot more sense just to rehab through the winter and we'll see you next spring?
My mentality and my motivation is to come back and pitch this year. This team we have is extremely special, and this offense we have is extremely talented, and I'm doing everything in my power. I'm putting in more work than I ever have in my entire life to be back at some point. So I hope to be helping this team for a playoff push.
Can you take us through a day? What is a rehab day like? How much time you spend?
So I wake up probably around 8, get breakfast. I go rehab from 9:30 to 12. That's mostly knee-based stuff, stretching, mobility. Then I go to class from 12:30 to 2:30. Then I go train full body 3 to 4:30. And then I go back to class 5 to 7, and that's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. So it's pretty hectic.
Holy cow!
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's way too
By the
busy.
time I get back, I go to bed. You know what I mean? I'm dead by the time I get back to my apartment.
You got to be a big man on campus, though, don't you?
I'm not. So campus campus is out. So campus
that's right, too. It's summer school.
Exactly. So it's very low-key. Not many students are around. Duke is actually undergoing a ton of renovations from, I'm sure, the national championship that we just won. So Duke is upgrading. So campus is really dead. So I just kind of fly under the radar.
So who all joined you for this weekend as far as your family?
Yeah, my entire family. My dad and 4 of his buddies. My mom, my sister, my aunt Janelle, and then my 2 best friends, Ryan Bonson and Joe Body. So we have a pretty big crew.
Jose Altuve batting with an 0-1 count. We got a shot of your family we're going to put up on the screen now, and you're all there posing with your bobbleheads in the screen. It's a pretty good shot, pretty cool. I'm sure you'll see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of this game.
What did you think, Marcus, when the Blue Jays approached you about having a bobblehead and a bobblehead day?
Yeah, I couldn't explain to you how excited I was. And once they told me their plans on how they ended up doing it with the blue glove and the bubble, I was excited, you know what I mean? And once I saw it, I was like a little child in the candy store, all giddy, so it's pretty special.
They did a pretty good job, didn't they?
Yeah, they did an unbelievable job. I feel like it really hits home. It really kind of tells me, oh, he tagged him.
Smoke swipe tagged at Altuve, but he runs too well, and he got back that. Marcus, I'm going to ask you to play the role of Pat Tabler. Analyze Mark Buehrle's season to this point.
Come on, you're on the spot now.
He's unbelievable. I can't give anyone I don't think he gets enough credit, honestly. Anybody in the show, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. You know what I mean? To put the kind of numbers that he's done consistently year in and year out, and possibly have the opportunity to go 15 years straight with 200 innings or more, it's unbelievable. And I honestly think that he doesn't have enough credit, and he's the best guy I've ever met. So I love that man.
What kind of advice has he given you as a pitcher?
A ton. I mean, we sit here, we spend a lot of time on the bench, we spend a lot of time talking, and more life talks, you know what I mean? Even he basically is my father on the team, you know what I mean? He's there to kind of bring me back into place when I'm getting out of hand, and he's there to kind of nurture me and teach me the way. So I wouldn't want to be learning from anybody else but him.
What's his nickname? Don't you have a nickname for him?
Papa Buehrle.
Papa Buehrle?
Yeah.
We're showing him fixing your hair in your headset before you get on there. We can see how he looks after you. He takes care of you.
That's my dad when my real dad's not around.
That's awesome. He is a great teammate and obviously a great mentor.
Absolutely.
This team has high hopes. Have you got a sense that this team is confident in what they're capable of doing in the latter stages of this season?
Absolutely. I mean, everyone sees it. This offense is arguably the best in baseball, and the pitching is starting to take shape here, so it's exciting. I love watching the guys do their thing, and we're definitely going to be in a playoff run come late in the season.
Evan Gattis with a 2-0 count fouls it straight back. Well, Marcus, we want to wish you the best, and we hope to see you back in September. And if it's not pitching, certainly come back and bring that bright smile of yours. You really add a lot to this ball club.
Absolutely. I hope to be back. Thank you guys for having me.
And tell Mark you did a great job on the interview. You represented him well.
I will. Let him know. My hairstylist as well.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thanks, Marcus.
I'll see you guys.
Marcus Stroman, what a pleasant young man. This is a ground ball to short. Reyes will go to second for the force. The inning is over. Jake Marisnick, the former Blue Jay, with a home run. The Astros have a 2-1 lead. on the interview. We want to remind you just how good he was last year as a starter.
20 starts for the Blue Jays in 2014, 329 earned run average, a whip of just 1.15. But the thing that really impressed me about such a young pitcher was his savvy out on the mound, his demeanor on the mound, his confidence, and what he brought every single day when he went out there for those 20 starts. He was in control. He was the positive guy. He was going to take care of the baseball. He set the tone, I thought, for the Blue Jays whenever he took them out.
He sure did. He was tied for 4th in rookie wins in the American League. He was 3rd in winning percentage among rookie pitchers, and it was a big loss for the Blue Jays when he injured himself in spring training. So Blue Jays got to play catch up now. They trail 2-1. 9-1 cheer for the Jays here in the 3rd. This is popped up. Altuve again battling the sun, and he has to make it off to the side. He and Chris Carter are going to have another conversation. 1 out. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Howard Pujols really starting to swing the bat well, and CC Sabathia continues to have his problems. Boy, the Yankees scored 6 in the first last night. Brian McCann's 2-run home run in the first, part of that 8-2 win. 4th time this season that the Yankees have scored at least 6 runs in the first inning.
Hey, get off to a good start. They did that against a pretty good pitcher, too. And Garrett Richards last night.
Boy, he only went 2/3 of an inning.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I was watching that game, and he just couldn't throw the ball where he wanted to.
There's a little looper behind Altuve. That's going to drop for a base hit. Reyes is aboard again. Reyes is on base with 1 out. He had a couple of hits in yesterday's game and was on base 3 times.
And sets the table just off the end of the bat. Altuve gives a heck of an effort, covering a lot of ground, but just can't come up with it. Now this should be very interesting. You see Altuve from the seat of his pants, he's able to get that ball back in. This should be interesting. Reyes at first base and McHugh on the mound. Reyes was going yesterday.
Reyes had a 3 stolen base game yesterday. He has been perfect this season. He's 7 for 7 in steal attempts. Blue Jays as a team stole 5. Donaldson at the plate.
Colin McHugh doesn't have what I call a great move for a right-hander. Not real quick over there to first base. It's just average. That time, Jose got 1 foot on the AstroTurf and was able to get back pretty easily.
One thing that plays in Reyes' favor is the fact that McHugh throws a lot of sliders and curveballs, slower pitches to the plate.
If he could pick up and guess right on a curveball, it's going to make his chances a lot easier.
Quick throw to first. Reyes is back easily with a dive.
I think the Astros know that he's a little antsy over there, and he'll want to run here in this situation. So we might see some pitch outs, or we might see a little bit firmer pitches to Donaldson.
Well, one thing that Reyes' presence at first does, it splits the attention of the pitcher, and it might get Donaldson another fastball.
And we all know what Josh can do with that. We have seen it, especially that high fastball. Told you that McHugh's throwing more high 4-seam fastballs up in the strike zone to set up that curveball. That might play right into Josh Donaldson.
There's the high fastball. He got the pitch that you'd think he would be looking for, but he took it. 2-1 now, 1 out. Another breaking ball. center field. That'll be in front of Marisnick, and Reyes moves to second. Back-to-back one-out singles. Colin McHugh got off to a good start this season, but his last 5 starts, it's been a totally different story.
First 6 where he won 4 of those ball games. His ERA was .355, but since then, .568. He's only won 2 games since May the 2nd. And opponents on base plus slugging very high. Support has started to go down just a little bit. You know, he's a good pitcher. He's got good stuff. But the opponents have been hitting him at a .311 clip. They know a little something more about him. It looked like Donaldson, you saw him take that fastball right down the middle, was sitting on a certain pitch and got it that time.
Jose Bautista ducks out of the way of a breaking ball. Well, the crowd's reacting as if McHugh threw that pitch at Bautista, which of course wasn't the case at all. Jose homered in the first with 2 outs. It was his 44th career first inning home run. Comes right back with another breaking ball, but it's up in the zone. Bautista hit a cutter out of the ballpark to center back in the first.
So this at bats, he gets a couple of slow curve balls. I might try and bust one in on him.
Reyes did steal third base in yesterday's game. In the 4th inning, he walked, stole second, and stole third, but was stranded at third. Pitch away, right on the outside corner. 1-2 now to Bautista. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to be Colin McHugh worried about Reyes at second running with Bautista hitting.
No, I wouldn't split my concentration. I'd be bearing down on Bautista at the plate.
Breaking ball off the end of the bat. The Altuve back to first. Double play. That curveball works wonders for Colin McHugh. He gets the inning-ending double play.
Today, we salute Warrant Officer Paul Daly. He's been on multiple tours of duty, both international and domestic, including Kuwait in 1991, Cornwall, Ontario for the ice storms in 1998, and Afghanistan in 2008. Today's Sunday salute, Warrant Officer Paul Daly. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry, and we want to congratulate Warrant Officer Daly for his fine efforts and Sunday salute. Always nice to see the Blue Jays paying tribute to the Canadian Forces men and women. Kobe Rasmus singled and scored his first time up. He actually doubled, a little bloop double in front of the left fielder, Chris Colabello. 2-1 Houston leads it.
And Chris is a little bit more straight away now with Rasmus at the plate. He was playing him the pull in the left center field. First time up, he was a little bit more straight away.
You see the infield defense playing Rasmus to pull outfield basically straight away. Luis Rivera sets up the infield defense, and he will check with the pitchers. They will have their team meeting as to how you want to defend against the opposing team, and then Luis Rivera will go to the individual pitcher and say, do you agree with this? And RA will tell him if there's a particular exception to the norm. Colabello has a long run over toward the foul line, and he gets there and makes the catch in fair territory. Colabello made the adjustment, shaded a little bit more toward the left field line, and catches the first out of the inning.
And that's why you make adjustments right there, a little bit more straight up, so you can get to the line and catch a ball like this. He had a long run to go, stayed with that. He was talking the other day about playing in the outfield and how he's running and the ball is bouncing on him just a little bit. And that's just something that comes when you play a little bit more outfield. You run on your toes just a little bit more. Stop that ball from bouncing.
Chris Carter, the first baseman, grounded out to short his first time up. Dropped his average under 200. Two and 0. Dickey is making his 5th start against the Astros since coming to the Blue Jays. He is 0-3. The ERA near 8. They have hit Dickey hard. He has now given up 7 home runs in 5 starts against Houston.
Yeah, that's been the problem right there, the home run ball. 3-0, and this guy can certainly take you deep.
And they threw a knuckleball because of that.
Figured that he would be getting the green light 3-0 because he can reach the seats with his power.
Does Dickey have the option of throwing a different pitch than Russell Martin calls?
Yeah, if Russell puts down the knuckleball, RA has the option to switch to a changeup or a fastball if he feels like it, as he loses him there on that 3-2 pitch. But he can't put down the knuckleball and have him, or excuse me, put down the fastball and then have him throw a knuckleball. I think that would just be too hard to catch it.
But it's something that they have discussed, and you know, with a conventional pitcher, you might do that as well. With a fastball, you might allow him to throw a changeup, but you certainly don't want to call a fastball and then have him throw a breaking ball. Luis Valbuena takes strike 1.
You know, it's such a touch and feel type of pitch. If he puts down knuckleball, and that's his knuckleball sign right there. Russell is a good enough catcher that if he changes his mind, and RA will change his mind, if they're like, okay, knuckleball, he's such a good catcher, he can catch the fastball.
Well, and the fastball's only going to be 83, 84 miles an hour,
right.
So it's not like it's a Sanchez fastball. If you were to call a breaking ball with Sanchez and then he crossed you up and threw a fastball, you couldn't get a glove on him.
Yeah, he might have a broken wrist. I asked Russell, I said, well, isn't there a sign that Dickey will give you to let you know that he's changed? He goes, no, it's not a big deal. If I call for the knuckleball and he throws me a changeup or a fastball.
1-2, 1 out. Chris Carter at first. Ball is cut on and missed. The batter is out, but it goes back to the screen, and Carter will move to second. Valbuena took off at first, but because first base was occupied, he's out on the strikeout. It'll be a strikeout for Dickey. Carter goes to second on the wild pitch.
RA will reach back with 2 strikes and throw a knuckleball, and that time right off the webbing of the glove as it makes its way to the backstop. 4th strikeout of the afternoon for RA.
That is a pass ball charge to Russell Martin as it went off of his glove. I assumed it was going to be a wild pitch, I guess because I'm biased to catchers.
That's what it is.
4 strikeouts now for Dickey. There's a fly ball into center. Pilar on the run, makes a running catch, and that ends the inning. The Astros leave a base runner on. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Blue Jays down by a run. Colabello, Navarro, and Martin.
Presented by the WeStyle 2016 Acura RDX. Go beyond utility.
Good crowd on hand as it's Marcus Stroman bobblehead day. A beautiful Sunday afternoon, and bobblehead is taking a tour of the concourse here at Rogers Center. 2-1 ball game as the Blue Jays are set to bat in the bottom of the 4th. Marcus was kind enough to join us from the dugout to update us on his rehab and his summer school down at Duke. Going to pick up his degree in August, and that's a great accomplishment.
Sociology. I can't even spell that.
Well, Aaron Sanchez pitched here on Friday night. Stroman was on the dugout bench, but Sanchez went to the 9th hoping to complete the game and pitch a shutout. But he picked up the win.
Yeah, I love what he was saying about that he was there. He really wanted that shutout for him. He wanted the complete game shutout, but he'll take the W. And Marcus was right there for him, right on that top step when he got back to the dugout.
Yeah, they have played a lot together coming through the minor leagues, and despite the fact that Sanchez was a high school signee and Stroman came out of college, they're very close. Their families are close. They have spent a lot of time together in the offseason and throughout their minor league careers.
You know, I think that's how you win at the major league level. When you've got guys who have grown up within the organization and they've experienced it down in the minor leagues, as Colabello fouls that one off, they come up to the big leagues. There's that bond that you can't teach that when you're getting guys from other organizations. They have to grow together in the minor leagues. Blue Jays are starting to get that with their young pitchers.
We heard that yesterday from Brian Parker, the director of amateur scouting, when he talked about the aspect that he looked for, character. And I think it's huge. And when you look back to all the great teams over the years, the one thing that's been common is a homegrown core. Pull on the ground. VR, the shortstop, circles around it, throws out Colabello. One down.
You know, why do you think the Cardinals are so good year after year? Teams like that have done it now, the Kansas City Royals, they've rebuilt the organization with high draft picks and kids through their farm system. You've got that bond, and they want to win together. And you do it year after year after year. You keep having guys come up. I remember when I was with the Cubs, and the Cubs were starting to turn it around. Dallas Green took over for the Cubs in the early 80s. And they said if we can get 1.5 player every year out of our farm system, we're going to be pretty good. And I go, what did you mean by a half a player? That player that can come up and down, being AAA in the major leagues, he's going to help you. But if we can get a new one every year, we're going to be good, and we're going to be good for a while. 3 years later, they won their division.
Down to Navarro. A little flare in the left, and that's going to drop in front of Colby Erasmus. Navarro has a one-out single. Well, the Blue Jays have had a hit in each of the first 4 innings, but much like the last time they faced Colin McHugh, they haven't been able to come up with the big hit.
Left a runner on base last inning. Left a runner on base in the second inning. You got to string these together and put him in pressure, put him in hot water, make it tough on him.
Russell Martin singled to center, his only time up. Russell's got a pretty good eye on Colin McHugh. He's now 3 for 4 against McHugh, including a double he hit against him down in Houston. You know, to get back to that character aspect, how many times have we heard Marcus Stroman in conversation this year say, I need to get back with my brothers, to get back on the team? And that's the kind of feeling you want, that you're not going to let your brothers down. You're going to do everything you can to make sure that the team wins.
And when you get 25 guys pulling on the same rope like that, tough to beat them.
Martin drives it deep to right. This ball is a ton, and it is gone. Russell Martin is all over Colin McHugh.
Well, he's got something on Colin McHugh. He sees the ball really well. That previous pitch was a ball that was right there, but he just took it, waited for something out over the plate, and I think he's at his best when he's driving the ball the other way. And Russell stayed back on that pitch. It looked like a high fastball up and away, to the delight of Marcus Stroman and his mates.
For Martin, that's his 8th home run. RBIs 25 and 26, and the Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead.
Watch how he sits back on this pitch. Fastball away. And that's how you drive a ball the other way. You keep that weight back and go forward with the swing.
That's a fair ball. Carter flips to McHugh. Smoke is retired.
Oh, a big hit. Another big hit for the Blue Jays. Finally pushing one across. It's been a while since he had hit a home run. And you'll take it on a day like today. Puts the Blue Jays back in front.
Russell Martin gives his battery mate a 1-run lead here in the 4th. Kevin Pillar struck out on a curveball to end the 2nd. He hits this ball deep to left field. Rasmus has room. He'll make the catch just short of the warning track in left center. But the Blue Jays have taken a 3-2 lead. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker.
It's the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend. 2015 inductees include Carlos Delgado, Philip Alou, Matt Stairs, Corey Koski, and Bob Elliott. Get there early and attend the Baseball Family Street Festival happening in downtown St. Mary's from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Go to baseballhalloffame.ca for more. And guys, the fellow who hit that home run last inning, Russell Martin, will most likely get into that Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame as well, I bet.
I think you're right, Barry, and obviously Russell Martin, one of the best catchers in baseball, born right here in the Toronto area. That ball is hit into center. Pilar comes in quickly and retires the catcher, Jason Castro.
Already needs a shutdown inning right here. You got 8-9-1. Your team has just taken the lead, giving you the lead. Throw a 0 up there.
Jake Marisnick homered in the third inning to give the Astros a 2-1 lead. Marisnick was originally drafted and signed by the Blue Jays, and he was dealt to Marlins in that big trade in 2012, and then also traded to Houston. It's another high fly ball. This one's going to stay in the yard. Pilar into the shade in center. Makes the catch, 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. The Orioles got Matt Wieters back on Friday, and today they get Bud Norris back. Their starting pitcher has held the Indians on just 1 hit through 3 innings. Carlos Carrasco victimized by the Orioles to this point. And how about Adam Jones? He's on fire right now. Hit another home run today in the first inning off Carrasco, his 9th of the season. Wieters' presence in that lineup is having an impact with the hitters and the pitchers as Springer gets hit by a knuckleballer. He'll take first.
Russell Martin looks like he is questioning that call. It sounded like it might have hit George Springer. Stuck that elbow out there, and it did hit him, but it didn't look like he gave the indication that he was trying to avoid the pitch.
Just kind of turned into it, and obviously knuckleball not thrown very hard. Now they're going to look at that. So Martin will walk to the mound to give the Blue Jays video room a little bit more time to have a look at that last pitch.
It clearly hit him.
Yeah, it did.
Clearly hit him, but as he turned away, he stuck his elbow out there. And if you're going to get hit, knuckleball pitcher, I guess, is the best pitcher to get hit by.
Well, especially if you can run like Springer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 1-run game. You get aboard and you got a chance to steal it. Russell Martin threw him out in the first after he walked to start the game. 2 outs with Altuve at the plate. Good time to run. Boy, Altuve, he's tough to steal with him batting second because he swings so much.
He's going to swing. You're right. He might take a pitch early in the count if you go. Give you 1 strike to work with.
Down and away. Martin grabs it. It's 1-1 now. Boy, the Blue Jays have had such a great string of starting pitching. Over the last 12 games, no Jay starter has walked more than 3 in any start. Dickey has walked 2, but they have had 5 games in their previous 12 where a starter didn't walk a batter.
And RA only gave up 2 runs last time out to Washington. It wasn't good enough. He got shut out by the Nationals.
Jordan Zimmerman in that first game of a doubleheader. So Dickey now with a 3-1 count to Altuve, and you just can't lay it in there to Altuve.
No. He showed that down in Houston against RA. A long 3-run home run. He's got some pop in that bat. He's got 5 home runs this year.
He pulls the 3-1 foul. We mentioned the starting staff and what a good streak they have been on. If you look at what they have done on May 20th, their ERA was 5.25, and since then they've pitched to a 3.12 earned run average. Bonus batting average has dropped. The whip is way down. But look at the pitches per innings pitched. That's the biggest improvement. They're pounding that strike zone.
You're just not walking as many batters. A whip of 1.5. That's a lot of base runners per inning that you have to deal with. And a lot of that was the base on balls by the starters and the pitchers. And then combined with the home runs that they gave up, it was just a tough time.
There goes the runner on the 3-2 pitch. It's fouled back. To give you an idea, we talk about it all the time, but sometimes we fail to explain it. The whip is the total of walks and hits per innings pitched. And if it's up around 1.5, then of course that means you're giving up a hit and a half per inning.
That's a lot of base runners.
That's a lot of base runners
that you have to deal with, and you mix in the home runs that they were giving up. You can see why they were struggling so much from the pitching standpoint.
Altuve hits it into center. That should end the inning. Pilar is there, and it does. R.A. Dickey is through 5 innings with the lead. 3-2 Blue Jays as we head to the bottom of the 5th.
You'll earn 5,000 first-use bonus points redeemable for a $50 gift card from the Shopping Channel. With no annual fee, you can apply today. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry, and it's a good opportunity to help yourself out. Get some reward points and help out some of those purchases. Good crowd on hand again today, and it's, we have said before, it is Marcus Stroman bobblehead day, and a beautiful day. 18 degrees at the start of play this afternoon. Fine weekend here in Toronto. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead as they are set to bat in the bottom of the 5th. Colin McHugh has allowed 3 runs on 6 hits to this point. Brian Goins popped out to the second baseman his first time up. Like a straight changeup that time, 0-2. With the draft coming up, we go back to Colin McHugh's draft year. It was 2008. He wasn't taken until day 2 of the draft in the 18th round by the Mets. Did he swing? Yes, he did, says Bill Welke down at third. That curveball did the trick. Goins strikes out. But McHugh was anxious to see who he was going to be drafted by. As you see that check swing that was called a swing. He said he got bored on day 2 and shut off his computer, and his dad is the one that recognized he'd been drafted by the Mets. So then he realized his dream of a chance to play professional baseball. It turned 28 on the 19th of June. It's taken him a while to reach the big leagues. Last year was his first full season.
That's got to be awfully tough to sit there and watch pick after pick after pick go by if you're anticipating getting drafted, I don't know, in the first 10 rounds or so.
Reyes tries to chip one into right, but Altuve is back to make the catch. Yeah, I can't imagine sitting around and dealing with the disappointment of round after round after round going by and you don't hear your name called. Chris Colabello talked about his draft day experience, and they had a bunch of people over the house that were anticipating a great celebration, and his name was never called. And it's very disappointing, obviously, when a young man has a dream of playing professional baseball and then you never hear your name called on draft day or any of those 3 days during the extent of the draft.
I say just go out and do something. Someone will find you.
Yeah, they'll locate you. You don't have to be sitting at the phone.
No. It's like those players in the NFL. They go to that green room and they're anticipating being picked in top 20 and they don't get picked. That's embarrassing and tough to take.
Yeah, plus how are you going to pay for that new suit you bought?
I don't think you bought it. I think somebody gave you a loan for that.
Josh Donaldson singled to center field in the 3rd inning. He's 1 for 2 so far. Well, the Blue Jays will have a busy night tonight all the way through to tomorrow night when they make their first pick in the 29th spot in the June draft. Take place at 7 o'clock. The Blue Jays have lost their higher pick because they signed Russell Martin as a free agent, had to give up their pick, so they'll pick 29th, 56th, 91st, and 122nd.
And they get the 29th pick because they lost Melky. Melky Cabrera goes to the White Sox, so they get compensation for that.
I think they were pleased to surrender a draft pick for the ability to sign Russell Martin. The Astros have had the first pick overall the previous 3 drafts until tomorrow. They'll pick 2nd
and 5th.
They didn't sign their number 1 pick, Brady Aiken, who is back into the draft this year. So they took the spot behind that pick, number 2 and number 5, because of their record.
You know, I would do what the Blue Jays did in losing 1 draft pick to get 5 years of Russell Martin. So they dropped down from 16 to 29. Big deal. You get Russell for 5 years.
Ground ball. Josh Donaldson has his 2nd hit.
Experience the We Style 2016 Acura RDX. Go beyond utility.
Beautiful Sunday afternoon in Toronto as Bautista bats with Donaldson at first. Donaldson is 2 for 3 today. Josh had a stolen base yesterday after getting hit by a pitch, but that was a leadoff situation in the 6th. Bautista homered in the 1st inning to put the Blue Jays out in front early.
You know, with the Blue Jays, rallies can come from anywhere because they've got so many good hitters up and down their lineup. 2 quick outs here in the 5th inning, and then Josh Donaldson does it again, keeps it going. What is it with Josh Donaldson and the Houston Astros?
38 straight games he's reached base against the Astros. That curveball, he started it right at Bautista's shoulder and dropped it in.
I think he's going to start using that curveball a little bit more against Jose. He homered against a cutter his first time up. He can turn on anybody's fastball. Got him to ground out into a double play last time with that curveball.
1-2 now to Bautista. Fastball. They pushed him off the plate, trying to come inside with that heater. Boy, now naturally you would think, okay, the curveball is going to follow this pitch. This is the fastball off the plate inside. Looked like it brushed his jersey.
Yes, it did. Sounded like it, too.
There's the curveball, but way outside. Full count, 2 outs. Donaldson at first will be off on the pitch. If Bautista reaches, it'll be Chris Colabello.
Jose studies pitchers and finds things about them in these types of situations. You got him last time with a curveball. He might be looking for something like that again.
3-2. Donaldson at first. There he goes. Bautista pops it up back over the screen and out of play. Boy, this is a great example of that one-on-one confrontation. Bautista trying to match wits with Colin McHugh. McHugh wants the curveball. Bautista watched it sail down out of the zone. Bautista walks, and you can see where he ranks in the franchise history of plate appearances per walk. Bautista, 6.5 plate appearances for every walk. Olerud, Delgado, Mullinex, and Encarnacion, all with great eyes and good hitters.
All very good hitters. Some of them power hitters, as you see Delgado, Bautista, Encarnacion, Johnny O, and Rance. They were just good hitters. They put the ball all over the place, but they had great eyes. And the best pitch in baseball, make them throw the ball in the strike zone. Don't help them out, and all those hitters that we just showed up there did that.
Hitting is very, very difficult at any level, but especially in the major leagues. And if you don't get strikes to hit, you just won't hit. So Brent Straub with a quick visit to the mound. The pitching coach returns to the Astros dugout. 2 aboard, 2 outs, Chris Colabello. Colabello with a 16-game hit streak at stake. He has grounded out twice to the shortstop. Yesterday, he doubled in his 3rd at bat in the 5th inning. Boy, that's a big breaking curveball.
Yeah, and they fed Colabello a lot of breaking balls. I mean, he has been out in front on his 2 ground outs to the shortstop. He's a smart hitter, too. He studies those pitchers and has a pretty good idea when he steps into that batter's box what he wants to do or what that pitcher's going to try and do to him.
McHugh has shown that he's not going to throw that fastball in the strike zone.
That's just a show-me pitch. The curveball and then that cutter-slider combination to the right-handers away. And it looks like Colabello's trying to keep that front shoulder in there, and it's looking like he's trying to hit the ball the other way or back through the middle.
That hits him. The fastball inside, and that'll load the bases. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. CC Sabathia gave up 2 runs early, and now the Yankees with those big potent bats have stormed back. Gardner, his 5th home run. 3 RBI day for Gardner. Gianni Navarro with the bases loaded. Chance to pad the Blue Jays lead.
Can you believe how shallow the outfield is playing for the Astros against Navarro?
Yeah, the outfield is very shallow, and they could get burned.
I think it has something to do with the slow turf on any base hit, that they want to come up and have a chance to get that runner at the plate. But the Blue Jays, with their power, especially Navarro, if he gets into one, he can drive it over all those guys' heads.
Well, they have the benefit of 3 center fielders playing in the outfield. They've got terrific outfielders. But one thing they don't do is they don't throw out any base runners. They have just 6 outfield assists all season long. That's the fewest in the American League.
Rasmus 1, Marisnik 2, and Springer 3.
Will Harris, the reliever, is loosening up for the Astros. The Blue Jays again with a chance to kick the door wide open. Brent Strom and A.J. Hinch discussing their next move. There's a fly ball. It's going to be a routine fly ball. Rasmus makes the catch. The Blue Jays leave the bases loaded. They have a 3-2 lead. We head to the 6th, and here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
July 14th in Cincinnati, Ohio. If you want Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, Devin Travis, Russell Martin, and Edwin Encarnacion to be starters for the American League, you have to vote. Fans are allowed to vote a maximum of 35 times per email address. Go to BlueJays.com to do just that. And folks, Kansas City, Mike Moustakas leading third baseman, and I think that we have a few more people in the entire country of Canada that can get Josh Donaldson there, right, Buck?
I believe you're right, Barry. I think the biggest thing is the fans have to log on to MLB.com and place your votes for Josh and the rest of his teammates on that ballot. Get them to the All-Star game. Evan Gattis against R.A. Dickey with a wild swing on the first pitch. It'll be Gattis, Rasmus, and Carter for the Astros in the 6th. And there's a deep drive to the left. Get foul. And it does.
He was listening to you. This guy's a strong guy, an old-fashioned guy. No batting gloves, no pine tar. Just get up there and swing hard. It's a knuckleball that stays over the middle plate. You see that ball was rolling. What R.A.'s trying to do is keep that hand behind the ball so he can get the good movement. When he gets on the side of it like that and spins it out like that, that's when you start getting the rolling knuckleball and not a lot of movement.
We're in the 6th inning with a Blue Jays lead. Aaron Loup beginning to loosen up. Loup had a good outing yesterday, 2/3 of an inning. There's a liner right to Donaldson. 1 down. John Gibbons has had the luxury of getting this great streak of starts where it allows you to minimize the number of relievers you need, and you can see he's going to have a look at that Astros lineup and say, okay, where are we in this ball game now, and how are we going to close this thing out? Mark Burley has really been a big part of this rotation and what they have done. Marquez, Estrada, Burley, and Sanchez will pitch in the Marlins series. Estrada will start things Monday night, Burley Tuesday night, and Aaron Sanchez Wednesday afternoon. Rasmus flares this one into left, and that's going to drop in front of Colabello. A one-out single. Rasmus, his second hit. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Kind of interesting that after an out was recorded that CC would get himself tossed, and on the back end of that, so was Joe Girardi. Not a baseball left in that game, I have a feeling. Into the seventh, the Angels are down by 2. Trout and Pujols with home runs in that ball game in the first inning off CC Sabathia.
Going to have to turn it over to that bullpen a little early.
Chris Carter swings and misses. It's a ball and a strike to the Astros first baseman. Well, the Yankees have had consistent work from Betances and Miller, but other than that, they've had some shaky work out of their bullpen. That's strike 2, and just in case Rasmus wasn't paying attention, but it was a foul tip. The umpire at home said, wait, it was a foul ball. And Russell said, well, I caught it and I can continue play.
Yeah, you could throw it down there.
Yeah.
That's a heads up play right there by Russell.
1-2, 1 out. Ooh, good pitch. Martin wanted that pitch, and so did Dickey.
Yeah, you got a big home run hitter up there in Chris Carter. When you get one in the strike zone, at least you think you got one in the strike zone, you want the call. That makes it 2-2.
That ball gets away from Martin. Boy, Rasmus had a great opportunity to go to second, but he couldn't pick up the baseball. So that keeps the double play in order.
Watch Russell. He catches the ball and then flips it into his hand, but misses it. But Rasmus, standing out there, cannot move up. It's a big pitch right here.
3-2, 1 out. Rasmus at first. Not running. Carter fights it off and hits it into the seats. Well, the Astros strike out so much that I guess you keep Rasmus in place there. Luis Valbuena, the on-deck hitter, has some power. You don't want to run into a strike him out, throw him out double play to end the inning.
Yeah, Colby's only attempted 2 stolen bases. All right, does a good job of getting rid of the ball, and Colby doesn't have a very big lead.
And there's the strikeout. So they keep Rasmus anchored at first. Carter strikes out for the first time today. 5 strikeouts for Dickey.
Well, that's a big out against the guy who can reach the seats. It's a high knuckleball that time. Wasn't getting the great movement that you want, but I think because it was elevated that time, Carter comes up empty.
Luis Valbuena 0 for 8 against R.A. Dickey, lifetime. Blue Jays trying to get to 500. They're 27-30. Two and 0. There's a strike. The Blue Jays have held their opponents to 3 runs or less in 6 of their last 7 games. And obviously with the Blue Jays offense, you do that, you can win a lot of games. Foul back. Now it's 2-2.
He has fallen behind certain hitters, but that knuckleball, he gets it back in there. It looks like he called out Russell Martin for this pitch and has something that he wants to say to him.
Well, you mentioned that Dickey has the option of shaking off the knuckleball without shaking off a sign. Now he has another thought. After finishing his chat, he called Russell Martin back. So now they have their heads together. But if Dickey gets a knuckleball sign from Martin, he has the option to throw a changeup or a fastball.
2-2 count here against Valbuena. It's got to be a knuckleball, doesn't it?
I would think. That's ball 3. Full count. Rasmus will be off on the pitch. Colby at first is 2 for 3 this afternoon. Jonathan Villar, switch hitter on deck. There goes Rasmus. Ball 4. That's the 3rd walk issued by Dickey, and that's been a big improvement for R.A. He's had much better command of late. Pete Walker checking on the status of Aaron Loup. Dane Johnson talking to the pitching coach, and I'm sure Loup is ready by now. VR this afternoon is 0 for 2 against Dickey. VR's splits are almost identical whether he's facing a righty or lefty. And he has hit right-handed against Dickey all afternoon.
Strike down and a fly ball, and a nice play by Pilar in center. And he holds up.
Well, there's no reason for Dickey to throw anything other than knuckleballs in this at bat. Even if he walks him, Castro is a left-handed hitter on deck. And that's 3-0. Mentioned over the last 12 games coming into this game, no Blue Jays starter has walked more than 3. Dickey has walked 3 to this point.
3-0
that'll be 4. Yep. I agree with that pitch 100%. Yep. Dickey knows what the deal is. They've got Loup ready. Castro is a left-handed hitter, and he had to throw that knuckleball. He didn't want to give into the hitter by throwing a fastball there. And that's just life with a knuckleball. You're going to walk some people. So now you look to the bullpen to bail you out. R.A. Dickey with another good start. 2 runs on 4 hits to this point. Looking to Aaron Loup. Hank Conger has gotten his hat on. He's going to hit the switch hitting pitcher. Aaron Loup into the game, his 24th appearance of the season. The pivotal point of this ball game. Bases are loaded, 2 out. Loup will face a pinch hitter in Hank Conger.
There's 3 walks this year for Aaron Loup, and first batter efficiency, inherited runner scoring, stopping him so important. Loup has stranded 5 runners this year. There are Hank Conger's numbers.
Conger lined out off of Loup in the 7th inning yesterday to end the 7th. And here the changeup works. Ball got away from Martin. Bases loaded. It's an 0-2 count. Loup trying to strand the bases loaded.
He's got some options here now. Against right-handers, he'll throw that fastball in or away. He'll start that breaking ball and try and hit that outside corner, or throw another changeup. There's the inherited runner stranded. This is a big part of the game right here.
0-2, 2 outs. With that changeup down and away. R.A. Dickey with a very good start once again. Did a nice job of neutralizing this Astros attack. Loup was set, and Martin asked for time, and now Russell's going to go to the mound and have a chat with his lefty.
And that is the right thing to do right there. It looked like Russell called the timeout, and home plate umpire gave it to him. And then, just to make sure, let's make sure what we want to do here in this pivotal part of the game. Do you feel comfortable throwing that fastball again and dotting the outside corner? Or do you feel better throwing a breaking ball?
Russell Martin with a little visit. They got their heads together. The Astros leave the bases loaded. R.A. Dickey, the pitcher of record. Russell Martin's had a great day at the plate. He's 2 for 2. This home run, a 2-run shot, his first since May 6th against the Yankees.
Though it's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final. The Tampa Bay Lightning winning Game 2 last night to even up that series. The game will be seen on CBC, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Bye.
Thank you very much, and it has turned out to be a terrific Stanley Cup Final. We'll be back at it tomorrow night. Blue Jays are back at it here in the bottom of the 6th. Russell Martin's had a big day. He singled to center his first time up in the 2nd and hit a big 2-run home run to erase a 1-run deficit. Here he goes after the first pitch, hits a 2-hopper off the glove of Valbuena, and he had a shot at him the first time. After he bobbled it, he picked it up, but then he dropped it again. So Martin's aboard for a third straight time.
Second error of the season for Luis Valbuena, the third baseman. He backs up and he's got plenty of time and plenty of room to make the play, but he goes to catches it, miss it, hits it with his glove, drops it, and drops it one more time, and that allows that leadoff hitter to get on base.
Third time he said, I'll just wait till it stops rolling and pick it up. And Conger is behind the plate. He pinch hit for Castro. Dustin Smoke. Smoke's 0 for 2. Blue Jays trying to sweep the Astros and run their winning streak to 5 straight. Doesn't that sound good?
That sounds real good. Some momentum.
This is going to hook foul. He hit it far enough, just a little bit crooked.
You know, I think the Blue Jays were embarrassed when they went down to Houston and got swept in that 4-game series. And I know for a fact the players were talking about it before this series, about returning the favor to the Astros. They were 4 really close games against Houston, and they beat them in all facets. And the Blue Jays, they want to come out here and take care of the Stros.
There's that curveball for a strikeout. Well, the Blue Jays, there's been no problems on offense. And you look at the last 4 seasons of Blue Jays runs per game and where they rank in the American League. 2012, middle of the pack, 7th, 8th in 13, 4th in 14. And boy, what a turnaround this season. What's been the difference?
I think their lineup is just so much deeper. You've got the Josh Donaldsons and the Russell Martins of the world, Devin Travis at the beginning of the season. Guys that don't strike out much. Blue Jays hit their share of home runs last year, but they had a lot of holes. If you make good pitches, you can get them out. For me, I'd like to see one more hitter, a left-handed hitter, to balance out all these right-handed hitters. Take away that curveball from pitchers like McHugh. Just one more productive left-handed batter that drives in runs.
The Blue Jays have made a fairly effective adjustment against McHugh compared to his last outing. He had 9 strikeouts over 7 innings last time out. Today he's punched out just 3. Blue Jays had a great opportunity in the 5th. McHugh was able to strand the bases loaded. It's a high fly ball into shallow left field. Rasmus coming in. Still coming in. 2 down. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It is Marcus Stroman bobblehead day, and of course, the bobblehead reflects that Marcus loves bubblegum. So he is back at Rogers Center, and it was nice of Marcus to join us from the dugout earlier in this game. I got to hear about his rehab and how things are going with him back in school, and the fact that he's pleased to be back with his teammates. Number 9 hitter Ryan Goins falls behind 0-1. Two balls and a strike to Ryan Goins. Blue Jays would love to pad their lead here. This Astros team has a lot of firepower and they can strike late.
They've got a lot of come from behind wins, so those add-on runs, so important.
Oh, nice play by Carter. He takes a hit away from Ryan Goins. That'll end the inning. Blue Jays will leave a base runner. We'll head to the 7th. Blue Jays have a 3-2 lead over Houston.
For Blue Jays white panel hat presented by Jack Links. Jays take on the Rangers that afternoon at 1:07, and the first 20,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays white panel hat. Go to BlueJays.com for more. Love those old retro hats. Buck, it reminds me of the days when you were a Blue Jay. You too, Pat.
Those are good-looking hats, and you have a chance to pick up one of those hats on that next giveaway day. New pitcher in the game in relief of Aaron Loop is Bo Schultz, making his second appearance for the Blue Jays.
Bo was called up on May 29th from Buffalo. He had a good start to the season down there. He's only been in one game for the Blue Jays. That was 2 scoreless innings against Washington. He's got a good arm, good fastball, and a good slider. And right now you've got 3 right-handers coming up, 4 right-handers in Gaddis. So John Gibbons goes to his bullpen, and he wants a little bit more from the right side.
Schultz pitched in game 1 of that doubleheader on June 2nd against Washington. That was a 2-0 loss at the hands of Jordan Zimmerman. Dickey started that game. Schultz pitched the 7th and 8th, walked a batter, gave up a hit, nothing more in 2 innings of work. The Blue Jays need somebody to step up and complement Roberto Osuna in that bullpen from the right side. Osuna's been terrific, but you can't use him every day.
No, you can't, and my guess is he's down today because he's thrown the last 2 days for the Blue Jays. There's been glimpses. Liam Hendricks has had some decent outings. Steve Delabar's had outings. That ball hits him on a 1-1 pitch. But from the right side, they got to find somebody else to complement Roberto Osuna.
Well, the leadoff man reaches here as Marisnick is hit by a pitch.
It's the 3rd time today that we have seen somebody hit right in the uniform shirt on an inside pitch.
Back to the top of the order, George Springer. Marisnick can run. He's got 10 stolen bases. Base hit to right field. Marisnick is going to hold up at second, and Bautista can just flip the ball back into the infield. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Graveman has allowed 5 hits through 4 innings. He's walked a couple. He had to go back to the minor leagues after a Rockies start. He had a terrific spring for Oakland out in Arizona, but then got off to a shaky start, went back down to the minors, regrouped, and he's pitching well.
He's been pitching much better since he's come back from the minor leagues. Blue Jays are trying to figure this one out right here. You got one of the best hitters in the American League, and Jose Altuve at the plate. you've got an obvious bunting situation with a couple of runners on base. I don't think he's going to take an out here. Blue Jays think he's going to bunt as Smoke and Donaldson are in at the corners. You got to let this guy swing away, don't you?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Altuve has one sacrifice bunt this season. He's not bunting here. He's a terrific hitter.
I'd never take the bat out of the hands of a guy like this who can hit.
Trey Hillman, the bench coach, consulting with his manager, and Marisnick jockeying off second. Well, Schultz hit Marisnick, then gave up a signal to Springer. That's Liam Hendricks loosening up quickly for the Blue Jays. 2-0 to Altuve. Well, that's a good pitch. A lot of late movement on that fastball.
Lots of movement. Well, down and in at 95. It's the first time the Astros are getting a look at Bo Schultz.
Houston 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. They've stranded 6 to this point. Ground ball. Donaldson takes the high bounce, throws it into right. Marisnick's going to come in to score. And Donaldson couldn't get his feet on the ground before he made that throw. Marisnick comes in and ties the game at 3.
Just got a little bit too quick in his haste to try and make a double play. He knows he has to be fast with Altuve running down that first base line. The ball got to him quickly. It's in his glove, and watch his legs. He just can't get his legs underneath him. He's falling down, and that's going to make that ball go out into right field. He just couldn't come down on 2 feet. He's off balance. Still tries to make the play, and the ball takes off on him. Out into right field, so a run scores. Springer goes to third, and Altuve's on first base.
That's the first error Donaldson has committed in 24 games. He hadn't committed an error since May 11th. There goes Altuve, not wasting any time. The throw is late at second, and now they have 2 runners in scoring position. Altuve picks up his 17th stolen base of the season.
17 for 23. And why not? When you've got a weapon like that on first base, get another guy in the scoring position. Take your chances. And it works out. So now the infield has to come in.
Still nobody out. Bo Schultz in a jam here. Astros have tied it. That's a ball into center field. Pilar's not going to get it. It's over his head. That's going to cash in too. Springer's in. Right behind him is Altuve. Evan Gattis with a 2-run double. RBIs 37 and 38. And the Astros have a 5-3 lead.
Evan Gattis has been driving in a lot of big runs for the Houston Astros. Gattis gets a pitch on the inner half. Look how strong he is. It sounds like he breaks his bat and still drives it over the head of Kevin Pillar. That'll cash in 2 runs. He's standing out at second base, and Gattis has been swinging a hot bat and driving in some big runs for Houston.
So still nobody out. Colby Erasmus has a 2-hit afternoon. He's 2 for 3. Inside to the lefty. They mentioned the Astros scoring late. They've scored 3 here in the 7th. They've now scored 101 runs in the 7th inning or later this season, most in the majors.
And what does that lead to? Come from behind wins. They've got the most in the major leagues. And they wait till the 7th inning and score 3 big runs so far here in the 7th.
They have 17 come from behind wins this season. Rasmus swings and misses. Strike 2.
And they haven't hit a home run. 3 runs in this 7th inning and no home runs. That's such a big part of what they do. Marisnick is homered already today.
Well, you have a 1-run game and you hit the number 9 hitter to start the inning off. It just encourages the offense. Schultz in relief of Aaron Loop. Loop ended the 6th inning and stranded the bases loaded by striking out pinch hitter Hank Conger. Reyes was positioned on the first base side of second. Rasmus hits it hard, but he's out. Well, we talk about Evan Gattis driving in big runs lately, and you look at the RBI leaders since April 26 in the major leagues. Evan Gattis is top of the heap.
Yeah, he's the leader since April the 26th, more than Bryce Harper, and he's been hotter than anybody. Braun Stanton, we'll see him, and Arenado from Colorado. It's Evan Gattis with 37 RBIs since the end of April to lead the big leagues.
Chris Carter with the infield drawn in. Swings and misses at that fastball. The Astros with 3 runs here in the 3rd. They have a plus 47 run differential from the 7th inning on. That leads the majors. They have a terrific bullpen.
Yeah, you just don't have enough innings to come back when a team can strike like this. And you're going up against one of the best bullpens in baseball. Colin McHugh is certainly enjoying that. He's the pitcher of record.
Strike 2. It's 1-2 to Chris Carter. Gattis at third base, 1 out. Blue Jays need to save this run here at third. They're already down by 2. Despite the fact they've out-hit Houston 7-6.
7-6. Blue Jays have left 6 on, and the Astros have left 6 on.
There's a fly ball to center. This should cash in the run. Gattis is tagging at third. Pillar's throw. A desperation throw, not nearly in time. Gattis comes across with the 4th run of the inning. Carter picks up his 30th RBI.
He had a big home run down in Houston on a similar at-bat where he just didn't move. He just used that great strength to get the ball into the outfield. No stride, just get it out there far enough to score the 4th run of this inning. Again, no home runs this inning. They've used a hit by a pitch and error, a sacrifice fly, a double, and a single to score their 4 runs.
Luis Valbuena 0 for 2 with a walk this afternoon. Ball and a strike. Now it's 1-2. Valbuena strikes out. That'll end the inning, but Houston sends 8 men to the plate in the 7th. They score 4 runs and have taken a 6-3 lead.
comfort zone. Today we have guests from TD. Meanwhile, over in the Jays Community Clubhouse, folks from the Jerry's Care Rookie League, and Marcus Stroman, with everything he did pregame, also decided to spend about 30 minutes of his time with the kids, and I can guarantee you they were all happily surprised to see Marcus Stroman out spending the time. And again, guys, just another example of how great he is for not only the Blue Jays as a team, but the community as well.
Well, he really gets engaged with everything he does, and you can bet this is a lifetime memory for these youngsters to get a chance to meet with Marcus Stroman. And look at that smile. He's genuinely engaged with those youngsters there in the Jays Care Community Center. So congratulations to Marcus, and thanks for spending such a great day here at Rogers Center. Will Harris is the pitcher into the ball game, and boy, what a story he has been. Look at his ERA. It's not a mistake. Yeah. 0.34.
2-0 also. He's claimed off waivers from Arizona last November, and he does it with a fastball pretty good and a wipeout breaking ball. Harris thinks the velocity on his breaking ball has improved. That was from help from Brett Strom working on the grips. That's the pitching coach this spring, and he has been a welcome addition to this bullpen.
It's another great example of how you find pitchers, as Harris really wasn't in the picture. Josh Fields got hurt, so Harris took his spot and got off to a great start, and he's rolled with that momentum. Reyes, Donaldson, and Bautista. There's a fly ball to right. Springer is back and makes a running catch over his head. That's why they can play shallow.
Yeah, we have talked about that for 3 days now, how shallow this outfield has been playing in this series against the Blue Jays, but they have 3 center fielders. They grew up center fielders in their outfield. They can play shallow, take away the base hits, and then do this, go back on a ball like that, haul it in. This looked like extra bases off the bat of Reyes when it left the bat, but Springer hauls it in.
Well, when you have 3 center fielders, obviously you have the 3 best athletes in the outfield, and anybody that can play center generally adjusts very well to the corners. Josh Donaldson is 2 for 3 today. He extended his personal streak to 38 straight games, reaching base against the Astros. Hank Conger behind the plate. He took over after pinch hitting for Jason Castro. That was in the 6th inning. Blue Jays are going to have to come back against a very good bullpen. Bautista on deck. 3-0 count to Donaldson, and Josh knows he's got to reach base. Blue Jays are down by 3.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense going ahead and swinging on 3-0 when you're down by 3 runs. You need base runners. This is a bullpen that has the 2nd best earned run average in the American League. Harris, Neshek, and Gregerson are probably the 3 relievers we're going to see this afternoon.
94 down and away for a strike. They are also first in the fewest hits per 9 innings at 5.70. They're stingy. Their strikeout to walk ratio is first in the major leagues. 4.54 strikeouts for every walk. Donaldson bounces it foul outside of the third base foul line.
Harris has been, you talk about a great surprise. He had picked up from waivers from Arizona. He has had arthroscopic surgery on the elbow in 2008. He had Tommy John surgery the following year. He also had microfracture surgery on his elbow. And here he is throwing hard coming out of that bullpen. He's from Houston, so he gets to pitch for his hometown Astros. Doing a good job.
3-2 to Donaldson. High strike. Donaldson thought it was ball 4. He was about ready to take off for first. 2 outs. Now it's time for the drive of the game. It's brought to you by the Restyle 2016 Acura RDX. Go beyond utility.
Jose Bautista is in one of those grooves. Colin McHugh leaves a pitch out over the plate. And when you're swinging the bat like Jose Bautista is, it's not coming back deep to center field. And that is home run number 10 for Bautista. Got the Blue Jays their first run in the first inning.
It's a high drive to left field. Rasmus is back. This one is gone. Bautista's done it again. His second home run of the game. Another drive of the game. Home run number 11 for Bautista.
Just the second home run that Harris has given up this year. And I'll tell you, I don't care who's throwing or what they're throwing. When Jose Bautista is in one of these little grooves right here, he's going to touch you up.
Bautista has hit 4 home runs in his last 4 games. 2 home runs here today. He's homered in 3 of his last 4. Starting to get onto one of those Jose Bautista patent hot streaks. Chris Colabella goes after the first pitch. Colabella looking to extend his hit streak to 17 straight.
It looked like a cutter. Looked like he had those fingers right on the edge of that seam to try and cut the ball, but it's belt high, right in the swing path of Bautista.
His 24th multi-home run game, the first of 2015. And you can bet there'll be some more. Reyes looking at him like, man, you're starting to get it locked in. Colabella behind 0-1. Colabella looking to match Jose Abreu for the longest hit streak of the season at 17 straight. No swing. More importantly, if Colabella reaches, that'll bring the tying run to the plate. This is a high fly ball into shallow center. Marisnik coming a long way. Altuve calls for it. The second baseman goes out to end the inning. The Blue Jays have cut into the lead. They now trail by 2 thanks to Jose Bautista. A 2-homer game. His second, number 11 of the season. Bautista's first multi-home run game of the year.
Orioles at 107. Always a great match. Bring Dad to the game. Go to BlueJays.com for tickets. And I stress, folks, buy tickets for Dad and take care of Dad and bring him to the game. Buck?
Okay, Dad, we got the message. That's a good idea. Why not come out here with children and enjoy Father's Day right here at Rogers Center? We move to the 8th inning. Liam Hendricks comes on in relief. His 20th appearance of the season. It's been a good start to his season.
Yeah, it has. Very good earned run average at 370. No record. First time that the Astros have seen Liam in this series. He last worked in that doubleheader down in Washington. Chance to put up a 0 here in the 8th.
Jonathan Villar batting left-handed for the first time. Bouncing ball behind second. Reyes in time. 1 pitch, 1 out for Hendricks. I like the ratio.
He's been pounding the strike zone this year. Since they moved him into the bullpen, he doesn't have to worry about 6 innings or 3 times through the lineup or whatever you want to do from your starter. He can just get out there and air it out. And he's thrown a lot of strikes. He's always been known as a strike thrower.
Came up and made some starts for the Blue Jays last season. This is Hank Conger. He goes after the first pitch and rips it into right field. This is Conger's second at bat. He struck out the first time.
Experience the We Style 2016 Acura RDX. Go beyond utility.
Lots of activity on Lake Ontario on this Sunday afternoon. Jake Marisnick's had a good day. Scored 2 runs. He had a solo home run in the 3rd. Got hit by a pitch and started the big rally in the 7th. The Astros scored 4 runs on just 2 hits. Took advantage of that hit batter and an error by Josh Donaldson.
Yeah, something as innocent as a pitch right off the blouse of your uniform.
Donaldson had been playing such great defense, and he had that long airless streak, 23 straight games, and then tried to rush a throw, attempting to start a double play, threw it into right. Marisnick, we saw him, and he was swinging the bat well down in Houston back in the middle of May, but he's run into a little bit of a rough stretch. Didn't play in the first 2 games. Got to start against Dickey and has made the most of it.
Average still up to 260. He's had 150 at bats this year, 154 to be exact. He's had 44 strikeouts, Buck, and just 8 walks. So that on base percentage is going to be low. He's not afraid to go up there and swing it.
There's a broken bat looper behind second. That's going to drop. Bautista comes in and plays it on a hop. Marisnick on base for a 3rd time this afternoon. His second hit, little blooper into right.
You know, I don't disagree with the pitch. It was a fastball. He kept pumping fastballs in there. I thought they would go up a little bit higher right there and get the ball above his hands. That's where he's had problems. Mentioned all the strikeouts for Jake, and this time it's over the middle of the plate, and he's able to get the bat on the ball and just push it out into right field, out of the grasp of Goins.
Marisnick was leading off when they opened up the series down in Houston, and he started that 4-game series batting .303. So it's been quite a drop for him. How about the day Springer has had? He has walked, singled, got hit by a pitch, and singled. He's been on base 4 times. He scored the 4th Astros run in the 7th inning. Part of that 4-run inning.
Made a good catch in the outfield. He's been caught stealing. A little bit of everything.
0-2. The Astros will go from Toronto to Chicago. They'll play the White Sox a 3-game series, and they'll face 3 lefty starters: Sale, Rodon, and Quintana. Oh, 2 to Springer.
think A.J. Hinch is smart, rethinking about giving George Springer a day off.
That was his plan on Friday. He gave Carter Saturday's game off and planned to give Springer Sunday's game off. But after losing the first 2 games, he said, you know what, I'm going to keep Springer in that leadoff spot. Boy, it paid off. Strike 3. Well, the Astros have been in the basement for quite a while, and they've had a lot of high draft picks because of it. The fewest wins since 2011 to last year. The Cubs with 271 feature Anthony Rizzo. Joe Mauer and the Twins have fallen upon hard times, but the Astros, they've won just 232 games. And because of that, they got a lot of high draft picks, and they have made the most of those draft picks. And now A.J. Hinch in his first season is feeling the fruits of their losses as they get the force out the end inning. Hendricks strands a pair. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. The Astros have a 6-4 lead. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker.
The radio for every Blue Jays game. For daily coverage, headlines, analysis, and schedules, visit sportsnet.ca/Blue Jays or join the conversation at Sportsnet. And if you want anything and everything draft related, read this man you see right now, Shai Davidi. His latest column that will be going up will have everything you need for the Blue Jays draft coverage. And Shai just discovered he's on TV.
There you are, Shai.
Wave.
Straighten your tie up. Let's go.
Come on.
No, that'll be a big day tomorrow for everybody in baseball, the draft day. This is Pat Neshek, who signed a 2-year contract with the Astros after pitching last season with the St. Louis Cardinals. But he's been a real important addition to this bullpen.
Look at those numbers. 3-0, 218 earned run average. He hasn't walked a batter yet this year. 19 strikeouts. He's got 15 holds. That ties for the second most in the major leagues. And you know, a guy who's got this kind of delivery, you're surprised he throws a lot of strikes, but he is very, very good at throwing that pitch over.
He always hasn't had this delivery. And I spoke to him on Friday afternoon about that delivery and the genesis of this delivery. He said, I was a conventional pitcher in high school and got hit right on my right forearm and developed a knot in those tendons. And I went to play shortstop and couldn't throw overhand, so I threw sidearm like this and have just kept that delivery as a pitcher.
And it has worked out for him. He gets a lot of ground balls. He's got a lot of movement on his pitches. He can throw strikes with it. It makes it very tough for batters to pick up. Watch this. I wouldn't call it submarine, and I wouldn't call it sidearm. It's somewhere in between. It's very effective.
His body looks like it's going to be more submarine than it is, but his arm stays up, just kind of a high 3/4 delivery. But he showed me the knot, and it's still there on his forearm. He really had some damage in that forearm area on the inside, just above his wrist. You know, the one thing he has done recently is he's played in the playoffs a lot. He went with the Cardinals and got into the division series, got the league championship series last year, made 4 appearances for the Cardinals, a total of 4 innings, allowed just 1 hit. So he recognized that the Astros, an up-and-coming team, got himself a nice deal here with Houston.
And when he signed, there was talk that maybe he would become the closer because of his great 7th inning and 8th inning work with those teams that you mentioned. Then they went out and got Luke Gregerson. It's been a great combination for the Astros, Neshek and Gregerson.
This is the same combination the Blue Jays faced in the final game of that 4-game series in Houston. Colin McHugh went 7 innings in that game back on the 17th of May. Then Neshek retired the side in order in the 8th. Gregerson gave up a couple of hits, but no runs in the 9th to secure the 4-2 Astros win. Russell Martin hits a fly ball to center. Marisnik over to his left a bit. Neshek 2 up, 2 down here in the 8th.
Neshek has set a record for the Houston Astros. No walks through the first 24 games of a season. That's a club record for starting the season with 24 consecutive games without a walk. 2 up, 2 down here.
It's interesting that the Major League record is 30 walkless games to start a season by none other than Mark Eichhorn, who did that with the 91 Angels.
And who threw like Pat
Very
Neshek.
similar.
That sidearm delivery, or whatever you want to call it, it's pretty funky, but it's pretty effective.
Yeah, Eichhorn was a true submariner. He had that submarine delivery and started his career with the Blue Jays. But the Astros feel pretty good about their team when they get into their bullpen with the lead. Justin Smoke got the start at first base, and in case you haven't heard, Edwin Encarnacion took a cortisone shot in his left shoulder after the game last night, so he was unavailable for today's game for sure. And it'll be a day-to-day situation depending on how he feels and how he reacts to that cortisone shot, but obviously the Blue Jays would love to have him back as soon as possible. (6-4) Houston. 3-1 now. Kevin Pillar is on deck. Pillar has been shut out 0 for 3. Smoke walks. That's the first walk issued by Neshek. That was a terrific start of the season for Neshek without walking a batter, and he walks one here with 2 outs in the 8th. I want to remind you, coming up right after this game, the Cubs and the Nationals will be coming up, so make sure you check that out. The Cubs, with those young players, Anthony Rizzo, of course, a great first baseman, they are 29-25, 7 games back of the St. Louis Cardinals in 3rd place. The Nationals have a half-game lead over the Mets.
Nationals are getting healthy, getting their guys back.
We got Anthony Rendon back at the start of this series on Thursday. Jordan Zimmerman, who shut out the Blue Jays 2-0, will start the game for the Nationals. Blue Jays looking to rally against one of the best bullpens in baseball. Kevin Pillar behind 0-2. Fly ball into center. Marisnik over, calls for it. makes the catch. The inning is over. Blue Jays get a base runner, but leave him stranded. We'll go to the ninth. Houston with the lead.
$50 or more at Jay's Shop. The lawn chair has a built-in cooler just for Dad. It's available while supplies last. Guys, I'm really hoping to get one in here. Like you did tease me about that the other day, Tabby, and I'd love one down here in the camera bay.
Be nice and comfortable for you down there while you're doing your job on the sidelines. And I was in the Jay's Shop this morning, and let me tell you, there are a lot of people that are going to be in line for those chairs because they're spending a lot of money in the Jay's Shop. It was jam-packed. Evan Gattis had the big hit back in the 7th inning. Gattis had a 2-run double in the 7th that capped off a 4-run inning and that erased the Blue Jays' 3-2 lead.
He knocked in a run with that, then he was able to score on a sacrifice fly to cap their scoring that inning.
Hendricks gets that fastball inside. Leon gave up a couple of hits to the 8 and 9 hitters, but he was able to strand them.
Pretty good fastball. 95 to even the count at, or excuse me, make the count 1-2.
So Hendricks ahead of Gattis. Breaking ball popped up. Russell Martin up the first baseline, gets there and makes the catch. Gattis is retired. Young fan having a good day here today. Just found out today there's a camera in that dugout. Colby Erasmus. Hearing it from the fans. Kobe's had a good day at the plate. He's 2 for 4. Both of his hits going to left field.
Well, I like that they've sent Hendricks back out there working that 2nd inning. Last time out against Washington, he did 2 innings. This is just the 4th time, excuse me, the 5th time this year that he has pitched multiple innings for the Blue Jays.
And I think it's a good thing too, because he's been so efficient. You can ask him to give you multiple innings. He's been a starter in his career, so he has been out there for multiple innings in the past.
You know, the last thing you want in your bullpen, that ball sent out to center field.
Pilar calls off Colabello and makes the running catch. Good job by Pilar to communicate with the left fielder.
But the last thing you want in your bullpen is a bunch of 1-inning pitchers. Blue Jays had that a couple of years ago. You got guys who can throw multiple innings. In this situation right here, You don't want to burn another another reliever just to get you through the 9th inning.
Yeah, you need somebody to have multiple inning capability. Luke Gregerson, the closer, has warmed up, just taking a break now. Gregerson is 15 for 16 in save opportunities. Boy, that hit the umpire right on the mask. Sam Holbrook had that mask jarred off his head.
Four-seam fastball. Boy, it hit Russell and the home plate umpire.
You got them both. You okay? Yeah, I'm okay too. All right, let's go to work. Oh and 1. Chris Carter had a sacrifice fly his last time up. It was his 30th RBI of the season. Carter has been struggling to get his batting average up to 200. He recently had a 12-game hit streak and got over 200, but he has since slipped back under the Mendoza line.
He had 375 during that 12-game hit streak. It really brought that average up. You're going to change and trade batting average for home runs in production with him. He's going to hit a lot of home runs for you.
Upstairs. Up and in, he takes ball 4, 2-out walk in the 9th, issued by Liam Hendricks. Luis Valbuena, the third baseman, has an 0 for 3 going. He walked in the 6th. A couple of strikeouts and a pop out. Graham gets ahead with a fastball. The Miami Marlins will be here at Rogers Center tomorrow night. A couple of night games, Monday and Tuesday, and then a Wednesday afternoon game. Chance to see Giancarlo Stanton, outstanding right fielder, terrific power hitter. I mean, one of the longest home runs of the season in Colorado over the weekend. There goes Carter. Martin's throw is wide of the mark. Chris Carter picks up his first stolen base of the season, the element of surprise.
First stolen base in the first attempt for Chris Carter. They were gambling on Liam Hendricks just forgetting about him over there at first base, and he was going to get a breaking ball. That's exactly what happened. Tough pitch to throw on. Ball bounced, and then Russell tried to throw him out, so a good gamble right there by the Astros.
That's his 9th career stolen base. Obviously, he's a power hitter. You don't expect him to run very often, but he takes advantage of that 2-out walk. Two to Valbuena. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, Ryan Goins, the scheduled batter, then Reyes and Donaldson. So it's imperative that Hendricks strands Carter. Loses that one upstairs. It's 3-2. Jonathan Villar is on deck, shortstop. fouled into the seats. So we'll do it again. Another 3-2 pitch. Ranchapera loosening up just in case. Hendricks trying to finish off his second inning of work. Donaldson snares the liner. Valbuena's hit in tough luck all afternoon throughout the series. So Hendricks is able to strand the runner in scoring position. We'll go to the ninth. The Blue Jays are down by 2. Luke Gregerson in the closer to face Goins, Reyes, and Donaldson. Their 4-game series. Jordan Zimmerman will go to the mound for the Nationals. He's 5-2. He'll be opposed by the right-hander Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks, with a 1 good appearance against the Cubs in his career, 7 innings of 4 hit balls, so that'll be coming right up after this ball game. But before we go there, Blue Jays would like to rally here in the bottom of the ninth. And if they do, they're going to do it against one of the best.
Yeah, they're going to have to go through Luke Gregerson, who's had a great season so far. 24 games already for the Houston Astros, 342 earned run average, 15 for 16 in save opportunity. That's a 93.8% percentage rate this season, tied for 4th in the AL in saves with those 15 saves, and he's on a roll. He struck out 2 batters in each of his last 6 outings. Lots of sliders and breaking pitches from Luke Gregerson.
Munenori Kawasaki is pinch hitting for Ryan Goins. Goins finishes up 0 for 3. And the rally caps are out for the Blue Jay fans. Little flare down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Rasmus was over and guarding against that, but Kawasaki, a pinch hit leadoff double here in the ninth, and that'll bring the tying run to the plate.
And it turns that lineup over. Blue Jays getting their best hitters to the plate now with a runner on base. They send him up there, first up of the season for Kawasaki, because he's got a good eye at the plate. He makes that pitcher throw a lot of pitches, and then he'll do this. Look where that pitch is. That ball almost bounces. And he's got enough wood on that ball to bounce it into the stands for extra bases.
Well, Kawasaki doing his thing, starting the inning off with a double. Now the big bats come to the plate. Reyes goes after the first pitch. Jose Reyes homered here on Friday night, a 2-run homer, his first of the season. Downstairs, 1-1.
You know, but watch the shortstop, Jonathan Fielder. That run at second base means nothing. It's the guy at the plate that means everything for the Houston Astros, and he's getting a little bit too close to that runner opening up that left side.
Ball in the dirt. Conger locates it. Kawasaki stays put. You're right. Kawasaki's run doesn't mean anything. You should be more concerned about your defensive positioning.
Yeah, and it's tough after you set yourself up right behind that runner and the pitcher starts towards home plate. You're backing up. You never want to be backing up as the ball's crossing home plate if you're an infielder. That run means nothing. And he's not going to try and steal, so you don't even have to keep him close. He's not going to go anywhere.
Three and one. The Astros are 29-0 when leading after 8 innings. This bullpen has been locked down all season long. Reyes takes ball 3 in the dirt.
Throwing a lot of sliders. He's going to get his share. Make sure it's over the plates.
Base hit up the middle. Kawasaki's being waved home. He's going to score. Reyes has made it a 1-run game.
By laying off that 2-1 pitch, Jose Reyes gets a chance to get a fastball. That's what he gets from Gregerson, and he smokes that ball right back through the middle. Fastball out over the plate, and Jose hammers it to score a run. Now you've got speed on in the tying run, and you got your best hitters coming up.
Donaldson, then Bautista. Donaldson is 2 for 4. Couple of singles. First pitch slider. Reyes on the move. It's fouled out of play. Had a good jump. Donaldson and Gregerson were teammates last year in Oakland. So Josh knows all about what Gregerson throws.
He's only faced him one time in his career. And he knows that he throws a lot of breaking balls. That's one of his best pitches. Slider is his out pitch. He's got good movement on that two-seam sinking fastball.
Ball on a strike. Drive left field. Rasmus makes the catch about belled high. Donaldson hit it right on the button.
Boy, that ball just hung up and hung up. He created backspin on that ball. And it hung up long enough for Rasmus to run it down. Good at bat.
How about a little drama here? Bautista has already homered twice this afternoon. He has won 3 home run game in his career. Breaking ball strike. There goes Reyes, and time is called.
Oh, man, he got a great jump. He got 1 foot on the carpet. He's trying to figure out what just happened. But right when he took off, time was called by Bautista. And look where Reyes is. He would have been in scoring position.
Jose had a 3 stolen base game yesterday afternoon. Out in front of that breaking ball just a bit.
Wow, Jose was on that. He saw that slider and just missed it. Watch where this one is. This one's hanging.
Breaking ball up in his eyes. Oh, 2 in the dirt. $35,571 here at Rogers Center this afternoon. Jays trying to rally and sweep the Astros. Jays won Friday night 7-2. Yesterday afternoon 6-2. The Blue Jays have won this series, winning back-to-back series for the first time since early May. 1-2 to Bautista. There goes Reyes inside to throw to second. Not in time. Tying runs at second. Stolen base number 8 for Reyes.
I got a fastball for Jose Bautista, but it crowds him. High fastball, but a good jump once again. Inside, Conger has no chance to throw out Reyes. Altuve does a good job. He concedes that base. Jumps in front of second base just to keep that ball on the infield. Get a little greedy right here. Try to sweep the series. You can't be happy with just winning the series. You gotta sweep them.
Especially when you're trying to get back to 500. Blue Jays have had 2 walk-off home runs this season. Popped up. Altuve right at second now. That is a safe ball. That ball is safe. Reyes had second base and Villar stumbled over it. Reyes doesn't have to get out of the way. He was just safely on the bag, and Villar stumbled over Reyes, so Bautista safely at first.
That's his base, and he can stay there, and he was there. I don't know why Altuve didn't take charge and take this ball. Let's watch it once again. Right up into the air, and Reyes goes back. It looked like Altuve was calling it. He's standing right on the base. He's got to go around him. That's his base. He did nothing wrong there.
John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, the second base umpire, indicating immediately that, hey, Reyes has the right to that base.
He doesn't have to move out of the way so he can field the ball. He just stood there. He didn't stop him from trying to field the ball.
And he was just protecting himself. He'd bent over, covered his head with his hands, and he was doing nothing to distract the defender, Jonathan Villar. A.J. Hinch has convinced John Hirschbeck to at least have a discussion about this. And now Hirschbeck, oh boy, this is kind of interesting the way he reacted. It seemed as though he said, okay, that's what I have. But now Holbrook, the home plate umpire, has mentioned something else to John Hirschbeck.
Well, I know that's his base. And he can't distract the fielder to field a baseball.
Now A.J. Hinch has gotten the news he wasn't hoping for. I'm not sure what A.J. Hinch would be
what the argument
contending
is
here, yeah.
I mean, Jose was standing straight on the bag, wasn't he? I mean, he doesn't have to get out of the way.
Well, and he was protecting himself. He wasn't trying to distract the base runner or anything. Nothing he did with the intent of messing up the play. Look at Reyes. All he's doing is covering up his head, trying to get out of the way. But he has the right to the bag. And look at him point to it. Hey, I'm just standing on the base. And he's trying to get out of the way. So Hinch will return to the Astros dugout, and there's still just one out. Reyes at second is the tying run. Bautista at first is the winning run, and Chris Colabello, the batter, he is 0 for 3. A base hit would extend the hit streak to 17 and more than likely at least tie the game. Goes after that first pitch slider.
I think he should sit on that slider right here. Sit on it, look for it, and try and drive it into one of the gaps in left center or right center.
Bautista at first, encouraging Colabello to make him get the ball up. Bautista can really create havoc should there be a ground ball. Pulled off that slider a bit. Now he's really got a battle with 2 strikes.
Just a little bit. Pulled off just a little bit. Marcus Stroman enjoying this on his day.
Because Bautista is not being held at first. Carter's way off the bat. He can get a running start. And he can really put a hard slide in at second. And maybe Reyes can score on a ground ball.
Yeah. Or score on an extra base hit.
There goes Reyes. Both runners moving, and they'll make it. A double steal.
Again, they pick the perfect pitch to go on. They know that Luke Gregerson throws a lot of breaking balls, a lot of sliders. You're hoping for one in the dirt, and that's exactly what they get. No chance to get those 2 runners. Here's the slider in the dirt, and then Condor cannot come up with it. And now the winning run is at second base.
So now Colabello with a 1-2 count. The infield is in. The outfield is shallow.
To get that hitting streak. Wow, what an at-bat by Colabello. We're taking that party out into left field. Wow.
What a job by the Blue Jays in the 9th. Munenori Kawasaki started it all with a pinch double. Then Reyes drove him in with a base hit. After Donaldson lined out, Bautista had a pop-up that fell for a base hit.
And then the double steal got the tying and then winning runs into scoring position, and then a tough slider. Told you he's going to throw that slider. And Colabello sends it back to the middle softly. No chance for Marisnick to throw him out, and the Blue Jays can celebrate another win.
Chris Colabello extends his hit streak with his last at-bat of the afternoon. Reyes scores a tying run. Bautista slides across to win it. The 3rd walk-off win of the season for the Blue Jays. And what a team effort. All afternoon, the Blue Jays battle. And they react on the bench. How about Marcus Stroman? On Marcus Stroman bobblehead day, gets to see a 9th-inning comeback.
What an exciting win for the Blue Jays. Keep that momentum rolling as Colabello. He has come up with big hit after big hit for the Blue Jays. None bigger than that one right there, that single to center.
Chris Colabello now has tied Jose Abreu for the longest hit streak of the season. 17 straight games for Colabello. And he's just a few plate appearances away from qualifying for the lead in batting average. Colabello, his RBIs number 18 and 19. And let's check in with Barry Davis.
Chris, Edwin handed me this. You probably needed that the way your players attacked you out there. They got your shirt going. But I imagine it's probably the greatest feeling in the world for you.
That was a lot of fun. It's a really good team win. You know, a lot of effort, a lot of character there in the ninth inning to win it. Obviously, the bullpen keeping it where it was awesome. Oh, God. Here they
Yeah. You knew it was coming, right? You knew it was coming. Tell Pilar and Martin they owe me a little dry cleaning there, all right? Does that feel good?
Yeah, it's the warmest cold I've ever felt in my life, that's for sure.
You know, as a player, as an offensive player, tell me the feeling when you come up, when you know the game is on the line and you have an opportunity to do what you just did.
You really just got to try to slow things down a little bit. I mean, it's obviously a big moment. You want to help the team, but, you know, I was fortunate enough to just get enough bat on that ball to get it through. I was trying to stay slow the whole at bat. I swung at a bad pitch the first one, tried to get my heart rate down, and thankfully it worked out.
That's 5 wins in a row for this team. You starting to feel just a different mojo with this team in the dugout. When you're down a couple of runs, you get the feeling, hey, you know, we're still in this.
We got some really good energy going right now. Guys are feeding off each other. Everybody's playing their butt off, and it's a lot of fun to be around.
I know you don't keep track, but that kept your hitting streak going too, right?
I guess that's cool.
Chris, thank you very much. Congratulations. Great game.
Thanks, Barry. Appreciate it.
All right, there's Chris Colabello comes through with the big walk-off hit. Buck?
Thank you very much, Barry. Good job down there on the field. And the Blue Jays make it 5 in a row. Chris Colabello gets the Gatorade bat. The Blue Jays win it. Now let's go to Blue Jays Central. Here's Jamie Campbell and Kevin Barker.